Hello and welcome to Nova Weekend Warriors, your monthly program for all things fitness, health, and wellness in the Northern Virginia area. I'm Meg Donnelly, a licensed massage therapist here in Herndon, Virginia. And today I'm really excited because our program is In Tune, How Sound and Rhythm Helps Us. And I'm here with two people that I really can't think of two people in Herndon I'd rather talk about this with than the two of you. So we have DJ Strevvss and we have Al Robertson. DJ Strevvss is with All Around Acoustics.
Correct.
And Al Robertson is with New Pop Entertainment. You all have come together to collaborate and do some wonderful things. And I want to talk about that today. But to start with, I just want to talk to each of you, if you can give us a little introduction and talk to us a little bit about how sound and rhythm have helped you to kind of find balance.
So when I was about 3 years old, I started tapping and banging on everything in my sight. My father, he got me an acoustic drum kit, and it took off from there. And music was everything to me from that point on, probably even before.
That's awesome. And I know, like, when we were talking off camera before, we were talking about how you've got this really great ear in that you will hear kind of music just from everyday sounds that maybe some of us are just not in tune with. So can you talk a little bit about how that kind of weaves through your life?
So even from the time I wake up, my alarm goes off. It's the regular Android alarm. Doom, 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 doom. I'll play beats to that and I'll wake right up to it. When I sit on the electric recliner chair, when the massage is on, the vibration's on, it sounds like Latin music going on. So I'm dancing in my electric recliner. When the wash machine is going, it makes a consistent noise. When the dryer's running, consistent noise. Even when I drive, I go over speed bumps in rhythm. Mm-hmm. If I got music playing, the car just go right to the rhythm.
I think at heart, right, you're a DJ, you do a lot with music, but are you really like a drummer at heart? And does that beat kind of is what drives you, would you say? Or am I off base here?
Born and raised percussionist.
Yeah.
That's where it all started, on a full acoustic kit.
Ah, okay.
And then from there, I started playing hand drums, dome backs, djembes. I played in marching bands. I played at churches. I've done solo acts, done a lot of collaborations with my partner. He's introduced me to quite a bit of people around town.
In Herndon, everything always comes like full circle, right?
It does.
So talk to me a little bit about, I know that you said that like music has had a really profound impact on you through your life, and music can kind of also help with your mood, both positively and maybe negatively as well. So would you like to elaborate on that at all?
So I still do listen to like a lot of rap music and stuff like that, but I notice it kind of has me getting a little angry.
You've been able to kind of like channel some of your anger, so you can listen to that music that maybe kind of gives you that feeling, and that kind of like is a way to channel your anger and channel your energy into something positive. So there are times where listening to kind of softer music or more meditative music is great, but also it doesn't mean that angry music doesn't have a place. It actually kind of helps you to channel that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because I think people like to pigeonhole music a lot of times. And so to understand that it can mean different things and can kind of help us to kind of, when we're angry, listening to that and channeling it through that is sometimes really profound for us as well.
Correct.
Wonderful.
So with the rap music, I use that more so now to like clean and work.
Yes.
Because it's the high energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Behind the music.
Helps us to focus, helps us to kind of get into that energetic state that we
Correct.
need for cleaning. I do, at least, because I don't like cleaning so much. So, get me in that energetic state for that. That's wonderful. Al, I'd love to hear your perspective too. So if you can give us a little bit of an intro into New Pop, and then also a little bit about, what sound and rhythm means to you in terms of balance.
Mm-hmm. with New Pop, the idea behind that was to build this chamber orchestra, this jazz chamber orchestra. 10 musicians, 3 or 4 singers, just for the beauty of a big orchestra or band like that. Because I grew up listening to classical and jazz. I played a lot of classical and jazz music. My father listened to easy listening music. It wasn't just elevator music. It was mood music at that time. And my father used it as a way to relax. Well, I'm listening to this music. I'm hearing all these instruments, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, as a youngster, I wanted to play that. Also, I teach guitar lessons, and Herndon Guitar Lessons is the name of my company here in Herndon. And I share that with my students, this love of sound, this love of rhythm. I teach guitar mainly, and we talk about guitar being a drum with strings on it.
Oh, that's really an interesting take. Tell me more about that.
Once again, it feels like everything comes from the voice and from the drum. And so my students are trying to, well, we're getting them to learn to strum. And everybody thinks it's automatic to just strum on the guitar. No, it's something you have to learn. And but once you do, you realize it's like a drum. It's almost the same rhythms, or it is the same rhythms.
It's all rhythms. It's all rhythms.
And accented rhythms. Yep, Mr. Trevor. Yep. But what we're doing with those rhythms is we're just putting harmony or melody with it, and then that's what's then it creates this sound, rhythm, melody, and harmonies almost at the same time. It's almost overwhelming.
Now it's a melodic atmosphere.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now I hear rhythms too, and of course I play them and I teach them, but I hear melodies everywhere.
Okay.
So while Mr. Trevor might hear a beat, I'm sure he hears melodies too. But I hear melodies. If I hear 2 people speaking, I'm hearing a melody. And I listen to, when we're speaking, I listen to the rise and fall of phrases, and it reminds me of lyrics to a song.
Oh, I love that. And so 2 things came up to me. First, my brain immediately went to like bass guitar and how that kind of is like a drum in that there's that rhythmic and that kind of beat that you're following versus another guitar that is kind of following that more melodic. Is that the word?
Exactly.
Yeah, more melodic. And then the second thing I thought about is how you know, balance is about harmony, and people think balance is just one thing, right? But it's not, right? It's kind of like the yin and the yang coming together. And so that's a little bit like that kind of, you know, you coming, Trevor, from the drum background, and then you kind of listening more for the melody. So when you all come together, that kind of brings some balance. Does that resonate with you?
For me, it does, and of course there's that overlapping of the melody and the harmony or the melody, and so so we have those 2 things, and then they overlap.
Yeah.
And in that we find consensus, compromise as we're breathing through this music that we're playing.
I love that. I love that. Compromise, and then how we talk about them, because it's not becoming one. They're each their own thing,
Correct.
but they're kind of, it's that creation together that
Yes.
creates that balance. That's so beautiful. So I'd love for each of you to kind of just talk to me a little bit about what are the things that you are doing together now when we talk about that harmony and talk about community and coming together. So how did each of the 2 of you kind of come together? What are you doing right now?
So me and Mr. Al, we've known each other for almost, 14, 15 years? And the first day we met each other, it was an automatic collaboration. And we started doing Christmas events. We started doing solo events. Then he started contracting me out to do videography. Then we started doing the meditation. And that's our biggest project right now, the meditation on the handpan and with, you know, the magic flute and guitar.
Yeah. It's really beautiful, and you'll be out many times on the green here, right by the Old Town Hall, with some of those meditative events, and those are free for anyone to attend as well.
Correct.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
It's interesting because we have a friend, a common friend between us, Carolina Serrano. She's one of the singers with New Pop in our Poshmod Orchestra, which is another subsidiary of that. And she's very much into well-being and spreading that well-being. We talked about meditation, and I had talked about, Mr. Trevor and I have been talking about this for years. Before I even met Carolina. So I'm hearing it in one ear and I'm hearing it in another ear, and I'm thinking, okay, it's time for me to do something to facilitate this so that we can maybe see what happens. So we had looked at hang drums for years, Mr. Trevor. Remember?
Before we even thought about doing meditation events, we just wanted that hang drum.
Because that's the thing that we saw that hardly anyone had, and the sound of them is beautiful. I mean, it's just so great. You hear that tone. It reminds you of gamelan music from from some of the countries over in the East, where you have this kind of a mellow metallic sound. But the thing was, Meg, they were so expensive. They were literally, there was waiting list, and they were like
to write us a letter why you think
you deserve to have
a
hang drum. And they would be $2,000, whatever, and you would be on a waiting list, and you had to somehow magically qualify.
Yeah.
So we knew we had plenty to work on in the meantime, right, Mr. Trevor? We knew, and so we just by the time kept working, and then I looked again because I've got Trevor talking to one end, I've got Carolina talking the other. So I thought, okay, now I've got these two friends, and they really want to follow this. Then I looked again, and the prices of the instruments had come way down. Looks like the supply chain and everything came back. Well, there's another little piece to this. So one of the things that we know about sound and frequency is that we are on this 440 hertz standard now. Orchestras, everybody does 440. But if you heard, say, classical music 100 years ago, that standard tuning would have been 432 hertz, and that is basically more in line with the way the earth hums. And then we went even further, and we found the hang drum that was tuned to D flat. And D flat is, so we have this 432, the earth is humming at that. Maybe some of you guys know about this. And then we were in D flat. Wolves sing in D flat. Fish eagles scream in D flat. Whales sing in D flat. And of course, the great Nat King Cole, who, when you hear his voice, his best keys were D flat.
Wow. And all of those things that you just talked about, right? Mm-hmm. We kind of relate with a meditative state.
That is correct.
From whales to Nat King Cole's voice. I know that his Christmas album has to be the first one every year.
Yeah.
And you just immediately just sink into this beautifulness that I can't describe.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But this calm comes over you. And
That's
who
exactly.
knew? And see, now when you're talking about megahertz and you're talking about D, my brain is all over the place. I just know what sounds good.
Right.
And so to have that explained to me is really, thank you so much. That
course.
is beautiful. So I would love for you in a little bit to kind of take us through some meditative music.
Well, I tell you what, I usually walk around, we talk about these hertz and we talk about these things, but there are brain, waves or brain, places of brain entrainment. I'm usually walking around in beta, not unless I'm super stressed, which is gamma. But we really want to get down into the alpha states where we can learn down into the theta states. Like today would have been a great morning to meditate, but I got up and it was just, my days just started rolling, so I haven't had a chance to do that. We'll meditate as we get into the music, because as we're playing, it takes us down into those meditative states as well.
I love that. I love that. I think that's a great place for us to start today. Tell me a little bit about the instruments that you'll be working with as we get started.
Yes.
So the handpan, that belongs to Mr. Al, which I love playing it, but he would have to explain.
He's very good at it. He's very good at it.
Wonderful. So tell us, Al, a little bit about the handpan and what does that kind of like, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the handpan is sort of like a steel drum in a way. You know, we know the steel drums came from cutting off the tops of oil barrels and then fashioning notes out of maybe hammering a certain amount of the metal up so that you could have smaller protuberance that would come up and then larger ones, and that would give you different notes. The hang drum is almost the same way, but it's inverted. Instead of the protuberance coming up, it's going down into the drum, and they are precise circles that are tuned to particular pitches. And these makers, whoever makes these drums, they're amazing because they actually tune the circles pretty much to pitch down to that 432 D flat, etc.
Wow.
So we'll be using that. And now where the hang drum, we could do a little bit more on the history of that, but it is definitely, it's like gamelan music meeting the music from the islands, and it sort of has that kind of feeling with this drum. And then we'll also be using the bass Indian Native American flute, so we'll be using that quite a bit. And then we'll have the guitar, and the guitar is tuned to those frequencies as well.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, I am ready to kind of hear some music and help get us into that state.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Let's do it.
Okay, and we are back right after our meditative session, which was beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And what I would like to kind of talk about, and one of the things that this brought up, and we talked about in between segments, is music in the settings that a lot of us have in terms of health, wellness, and fitness, and in those professions. Everyone here knows I'm a massage therapist myself, and so music really is such an important background player to what I do. Really, a lot of times will say we get people out into rest and digest mode, and out of that busyness that we talked about all day. And music is a great way to do that. Trevor, you talked a little bit earlier about kind of the different types of music we use in different ways, whether it's meditative or whether it's to get us energized. Al, you talked a lot about the different theta and alpha, and the way that we can kind of, what those types of music are, or what would you say, not types of music, but tones, or what do we call those?
So I think we could say that how do you get there? How do we get our minds to calm down?
Yes.
I would say we're creating vibes. I know that sounds, so general, but it really is, because we're doing it intentionally.
Yes.
To calm everyone down. This is something that people do with music. Ministers do that. They'll have people sing. Martin Luther King used to have singers, and he would, if he could have Joni Mitchell, or James Taylor, to come and just calm people down. And we were off camera. We were talking about the Great American, This Land Is My Land, and those songs used to take the angst of our lives and just set that aside for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. High frequency vibrations.
High frequency vibrations. I love that. And I do feel like that's what we do. Like, especially with me, I will look for those slower paced songs. I've got an app that will help me to choose music that is in those realms that are kind of, more calming.
Amazing.
Also, one of the really cool things that I've been using lately is we've heard of white noise, right? And that will take away kind of some noises that are happening in other rooms, or the hustle and the bustle of life. And now we know there are different noises, or different, not just white noise, but pink noise and deep brown noise. And deep brown noise is one of my favorites because it's a very low hum. And that white noise sometimes has that high pitch that is a little bit grating, whereas this deep brown noise really, I find, tends to bring people a lot more into that rest and digest mode, a lot more into that calm and sleep kind of a vibe. And I love that you said vibe, because I feel like that's what we're looking for. And now, that being said, on the opposite end of that, when we're at a sporting event, right? And getting someone ready for their marathon with some pre-massage, we want the opposite, right? So we have that music that's really energizing, really getting you pumped up, that rap music, that rock music, that's kind of getting you ready for that race, because we do not want you calm for your race, right? We need you to be in fight or flight mode so that you can kind of meet that record and meet what you want to do. So again, just goes back to the power of music and how finding those highs and those lows are what brings balance.
Well, Meg, this must be amazing for you, because you really want to get your patients there so that they'll be more pliable, so you can really work on them. But how cool is it that we're doing all of this? It's analog. We've known this kind of thing since 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years ago, especially with the Indian continent and what that diaspora has been doing with music, sound, and meditation for a long time is greatly documented. But now you said something earlier about you have an app, which means now we're integrating the digital, which proves that we can get into these meditative states, and we know where they are, we know where those frequencies lies, and we can dial those right in. That is the marriage of those two things together, is that that is such a boon for everybody, and especially it must be for your clients.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about, like, we have to honor the history and the origins of a lot of this. And maybe we didn't have the science and the words behind it, but it's been happening, right? And so now we can kind of, you know, put the statistics to it and put studies to it. And we have all of that research, and we'll include a lot of that we talk today in the show notes.
Great.
But even before we had that, you know, and it aligns very nicely with massage, because we have things like meridians, right? And we didn't know the science behind that, but now we know that the meridians tend to follow the nerve patterns.
That's right.
And so it's the same thing, like when you were recording earlier, we talked about the hand drum and that's origin, right? And so when they were pounding out and making those tones that we might not have had the words to say, oh, we know that at this frequency, this tone gets you calm. But they pounded it out and then had people listen and then said, wow, this is a calming tone. And they pounded out another one and had people listen and said, this is more energizing. And so it's a lot of times I always feel like we're like either fact or fiction, you know, science or not.
Right.
And I think, again, to go back to that word balance, it's about, like, we can have these things and then we can find out, and like it's this beauty of them both coming together.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, I am so excited for this. Before we go into our last part, what else did we want to touch on today, or is there anything else that you would like our audience to know?
Yeah, just one thing about that white noise that you were talking about.
Yes.
I like to fall asleep with the blow dryer on. It's like a low meditational hum. The blow dryer.
All right.
Just cut it on low. That's
All right.
it.
Love it.
The other thing, I think that we are constantly hearing these sort of sounds and things that are going on. So there's either something, if two pieces of metal or a glass breaks, that puts us on edge. But then there are other sounds that are in the background that we might not know of. Maybe our neighbor is mowing the lawn, and maybe in the house we have the blow dryer on, and those are two different frequencies, and they're doing this, and we're hearing that all the time. And so we don't know what might be bringing us up or taking us down. But when we can do what we're about to do, or what we're talking about here, we're doing it on purpose. We're giving you the tones in two different ways, and so we hope that'll strike the core of what we're looking to do, which is to bring peace, comfort, calmness.
I love that. It's meditative, and it's also mindful, right? Because
It's
we're
mindful.
being very mindful and very aware of what we're giving people. And I want to thank you, because every morning at 7 a.m. when the sound is allowed to happen in our town, and inevitably the leaf blower comes out,
Right.
there's nothing better for me than to put on my noise-canceling earphones
Exactly.
with some of the music that you're going to be providing
Yes,
to us
yes.
today. And immediately it gets me out of that fight or flight, like,
Yes.
I can't take it, into whew,
Yes.
nice calm state.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. And today you'll play us out with a little bit of music too.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.